This is KUTX 98.9. Laurie Gallardo here doing KUTX at home.
Cool.
Out of my mind. I'll tell you though, I'm also extremely happy because today I get to really explore artwork that not only fascinates me, but I genuinely start feeling alive with. We are talking to someone who you probably know from bands like The Kills, from The Dead Weather. I am happy to also discover an artist who works with several different types of media and does a kick-ass job at it at the same time. Welcome my guest today, Alison Mosshart. Alison, thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me in your Zoom house area.
In the Zoom pseudo studio of mine.
Cool looks. Is that a balloon in the background kind of waving?
It's waving at you. I call it my my Pennywise balloon, you know.
I'm cool. Like, touching my eye.
If it's too distracting, please let me know. It's like, you know, that my only companion, the balloon.
Yeah. Oh.
I just, you know, first of all, I wanted to say congratulations on your book, Karma. Holy hell, Alison. I'm just like, this is the type of thing that I can keep diving into and I keep rediscovering.
That's so cool.
I love it. And I've been telling everybody, you know, the psycho highway and the American head. and I get stares, which is great. But it means a lot. It means a lot to me to be able to dive into it. And now we're going to have sound wheel that you can put together with it. But I did want to point out a few things. To me, this is not merely a book and its accompanying soundtrack. I don't agree with that at all. I like the way you described it as, I mean, in terms of sound wheel, as a sound sculpture.
Yeah.
And I feel that the entire thing, the thing in its entirety, is more of an experience, not just the book and the soundtrack. And that's where I get all the excitement, you know. And I even though I keep using expressions like spoken word, it's only because of the electricity that I get from hearing you do this, from telling the stories, from weaving the stories, and not story in a linear sense.
Yeah.
But in the images that you get as you're speaking. Tell me about, how would I even ask you this? To be inspired, that's 24/7. But what was the impetus for starting this awesome project, and when did you know you were going to have sound along with it as well?
Well, I accidentally made the book. I was asked to do this like kind of art fanzine project, a 15-page fanzine. Through my gallery, we were doing this project and I was all excited because I hadn't made a fanzine since I was, you know, my early 20s, maybe even before that. And so I was like, oh yeah, I want to do that. And it'll be about cars. Cool. I'm really excited. And I went home to my studio in Nashville and started working on this 15-page fanzine. And I looked up and it was 112 pages and I was like, oh shit. So that's how I made my book. That's it. It was just so much fun, you know, going through all my stuff. I just had so much imagery and so many things I wanted to talk about. And I just got excited. It was like one little piece brought me to the next one and the next one. And then I'd find this photograph and then I'd find this painting and this drawing. And it was really, it could have been 500 pages long, you know, except for it was due. It was definitely due. And so in making the book, there's some longer passages in that book that I struggled with editing for a while. I mean, I edited this, but it's very hard to edit something like that by yourself. You start to become very blind to what you've written, and God knows what you're reading, but it's not even what's on the page. So I started recording myself to see how things like would flow, and the stuff that was kind of bugging me, it was much easier for me to work it out with my mouth than writing. So I got into the habit of doing that and I started finding it so much fun. and it got weirder and weirder to read these things. And so I remember my first meeting with Third Man, and we're sitting in the office and we're like, they wanted to do the book, and I was really excited to get it published properly because I'd done like 500 copies that I'd printed myself, and they were gone. And I was like, I think, it'd be really great if everyone that wanted one could get one. That would be nice. And if they weren't an absolute fortune. And so while we were sitting there talking about it, I'm looking around, and obviously I'm at Third Man. I mean, there's just records everywhere. Like, you know what, guys, can I make like a sonic version? I would love to make a spoken word record, although like to me, like I knew it's not going to be that. It's going to be something. I don't know what it's going to be. We'll just see what it becomes. Just much like the fanzine turns into a book, the spoken word turns into goddamn science project. I don't know what it is, but so all these things kind of just happen to each other. I would get going and I started having such a good time recording these pieces, and there's only so much time on an album and only so much time in the day. So it is not straight up spoken word. And in fact, for longer, there's a lot of things that aren't on the record. There's a lot of like, I would pull like a small paragraph out of a very long piece and do something with that. And there's lots of interludes. And then that was much like making the book. Those interludes, I was finding cassette tapes and stuff from when I was in junior high and elementary school and high school of me. I used to record all my telephone conversations. I thought it was fun and hilarious, but I do stuff like that. And then I never listened back to it. And it's a gold mine when you find it like some 20, 25 years later, these cassettes, and I start playing them, and I'm having hour-long conversations with my grandmother that's not been around for 15 years. And I mean, it's the coolest, best find, She never knew I was recording her. She was a genius. Like, she's so funny. So there's all this stuff I'm listening to for the first time, conversations with my friends, and just weird rants I would go on, characters I'd be playing all alone. So there's a lot, I used those things in between the tracks because they felt like that's how that book was made too. I mean, there was things in there that I did when I was a kid, and going all the way through, kind of showing to myself, discovering to myself that thematically I've always been really interested in the same things, since I first started painting or drawing or doing music, or had a camera. I would gravitate towards like the crashed car on the side of the road. That's what I want to take a picture of, or the cool muscle car, or the highway, or this, I always just was enamored with the same things. And it's never really, those things still turn me on, so the book was just fun. It was like a book of my life being obsessed with the same damn things and realizing, oh my God, you haven't really changed since you were 11. So there you go. Congratulations.
That is the brilliance of it. To me, that is the absolute brilliance. And I think I heard, or I read in a recent interview that I've heard karma described as a memoir, and I was like, absolutely. I just felt a connection to that particular description because I could see these memories leaping out. Mm-hmm. And I guess maybe it also included knowing just a little bit about your interests, like cars. And that is another thing that I wanted to talk with you about. I love hearing you do these recordings because it comes alive, and it's also very physical. And sometimes you can read along as you're listening to you.
I've never tried to do that. I mean, I don't even think that would work. I can't imagine. The best way to listen to this is in the car. That's when I just like die laughing.
Yeah,
it's so nice. It's like the thing to like bring the whole thing together. When you're in the car and listening to it, then I think you really can get, I don't know, it just feels right to me. But anyway, keep going. I love that you tried to read along that system.
I guess it was also my sense of humor coming in, because it's like, when did you do that? When did you read along and listen to something? I guess the last time when I was a little kid and I had my little record player, and it's like, all right, I'm going to read along. Yay. But
I do this with albums, I love lyrics. And so I am the one that rips open the record and brings my lyric sheet out and plays the record. And I'm just like, I'm so into it. I want to know what every single word is. And so I get that.
I mean, but to me, that is doing that in the car is the ultimate experience for me. That is a test of everything that I really do love. I mean, that hits me on all the levels, because in the car is really going to bring that. And that's where my best thinking happens. Mm-hmm. And I am too chicken to go too fast, but everyone else speeds for me. So
there you go.
You know,
you're covered.
I love it. I'm all covered. And I'm just, another thing that I like about the entire experience is the visual aspect going into making videos. And, I saw Returning the Screw in LA, and I'm just like, give me more. I'm like, it also just fits. These are so many different mediums, but I'm feeling everything connecting. That's not an easy thing to do, Alison.
I think that's the beautiful thing about this book. The book has done it. Like whatever that experience was, going back through time and putting all of that together, it is all inspired the next thing. I mean, the book inspired the record, and the record completely inspired the videos. Suddenly I was like, all of the sound bites were so, like you said, they're really visual to me too. And that's how I think about music. That's how I write music. So it makes sense that that's kind of how I'm seeing it all. And then due to this beautiful lockdown that we're in, I just become obsessed with making videos. And I don't know, this is just my thing now. For now, I'm probably when this is over and I can get out of here, I'll never do it again. I have no idea. But, and then I just suddenly wanted to make a film for every single one of them. And much like making the book and then making the record, for the record, not every one of those things worked, as a spoken song or whatever piece. And the videos too, like there was just really automatic ones for me where like within 2 hours, I will have had the concept, filmed it, and I'm editing it. And I'm just like, I'm in it. I'm like loving it. It's like I'm on the best date of my life. Like I'm having the greatest time. So those really spoke. So I did 9 of those. And I mean, it's just so fun. It's so fun when you're trying to make something that's like a minute, It's a little bit more crazy when you're trying to, I made like 4 music videos during this time too. And those are entirely a different kind of animal, but these are just free. And again, like for me, just like total art. Like I am not trying to, I don't know. It was just like, you can do whatever you want. There's no rules. The book had no rules. The record has no rules, and the films have no rules. And so I'm just completely enamored with working on it. I don't know what the hell comes after that. I think I should probably move on to a new thing, but it has been a blast. It's been so fun. It just keeps giving, it keeps giving me ideas and inspiring me. So it's been, yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it when everything feeds off of each other. And I don't know, I keep obsessing on the connections. That's what I love about it. And when you say no rules, absolutely no rules, especially during a pandemic where nothing makes sense. The days of the week mean absolutely nothing to me. Oftentimes I forget my own name.
One day later.
Yeah.
Constantly getting 24 hours back. Like
yeah.
Every day I think it's the next day, every day. Oh my God.
I'm just like, go for it. And I feel it. I feel it with this project, with this experience that you put together. And especially the imagery. I need to share this with you because for whatever reason, this just hit me in the gut so hard. This could be about really any emotion in particular, but I just heard you saying speeding at 105 across state lines, stopping for nothing.
Yeah.
I have been there, and so many times, I might add. And I had a friend asking me, I don't understand. I thought you were driving like grandma. And I'm like, you don't know you have to. Yes, this has happened to me so many times. Yeah. It's an electricity there, and I love it.
Yeah. When you're on a mission, you're on a mission.
It's incredible. And I'm super excited about it. And one of the other things that I wanted to touch on, I was also keeping track of the new solo singles that came out, and I was like, yes, yes, yes. And of course, I'm talking about Rise and It Ain't Water. And I'm like, yes, all the gold stars, thank you. And that's off of Domino Records. Did you also make the videos for those as well?
Yeah, those are the first videos I made. That's when I was like, okay, I'm in quarantine, and so I'm going to teach myself how to do this. I had to make I needed to make a video for Rise, or I needed a video for Rise, and the label were like, well, what are we going to do? And I was like, well, I can't leave my house, so I think I'm going to have to learn how to make one. I'm just going to make one. I'm like, okay, good luck with that. And then about a week later, I'm like, here it is. I did it. And then, I was full obsessed. Like from that point on, I was like, and I'm going to make one for It Ain't Water, and I'm going to make one for every passage in this book, and I'm going to make one for, the mailman. I'm going to just make them. Who needs it? Yeah, it got a little bit crazy. Like I was just not sleeping. I was just like, how does iMovie work? And like, I almost threw my computer 1,000 times. Finally graduated to Final Cut Pro. My life is so much better. My life is really good now.
And now I'm a total pro. I'm relating. I mean, I haven't been making videos, but when you talk about editing, I just sit here with my very humble Adobe Audition. And yeah, I also feel like picking up the laptop and just flinging it across the room.
Yeah.
And the obsession over detail, I think, is what it does.
I'm jealous you know how to use that, because I don't know how to use that, and everybody talks to me about that, and I don't know what the hell they're talking about. So, there you go. You have a talent.
Something. I have something. I'm not quite sure I figured it out. It's just, it's again, I'm going back to Sound Wheel. I got a little sneak preview, and the thing that I love about it is just, again, the stories that started unfolding in my mind, but I really love the way they sound. The sound is also very physical for me. And I was cracking up. I was like, this is funny. This is insane. This is just crazy stuff. It was almost like like when you're dreaming, but you wake up, but you're still asleep and you're still dreaming.
I honestly thought, I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to get away with this. I don't know how. I don't care either.
Oh. That's the point. You're like, the hell with everything else. I think it's going to do just fine.
Can you describe it to me? And I'm like, no.
No.
I cannot.
Like, what do you mean describe it to you? Listen to it.
Yeah.
It's again, it's like, I think, yeah, when you said, listening to it in the car, I'm like, oh yeah.
It's real fun.
Yeah. It's like, but really, I really loved it. And then I was cracking up. It's all of that and everything. So again, congratulations on the entire deal. I love it.
Thank you. I love talking to anyone who's heard it, because I just want to look at your face. I'm like, did you listen to it? Okay.
I did, as a matter of fact. I tried to describe it as best I could, and you can't do that with words. You have to really check it out.
Yeah.
It's the waking dream, the experience of the waking dream. And I'm listening and I'm going, no, you're waking up. You're waking up. Okay. All right. I love it. And I can't recommend it enough. Alison, thank you so much for chatting with me today.
Thank you for having me. What a treat. Thank you. How is it in Austin, by the way?
Everything in Austin is trippy. The weather is extremely hot. Every time it looks like it's going to rain, it just goes, psych.
Really?
Sometimes, I don't know. It depends. I'm on like the east side of town. And of course, classic Texas. You can be like just a few miles down the road and it's pouring cats and dogs. And over here, you're like, what do you mean? Where's the rain? Yeah. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Yeah. Next time it rains, just get in your car and drive over there and get a little bit of it. Come back.
Just stand under there and go, yay, I got it. Awesome. And if I can give some instruction to our viewers, to our listeners, you can go to thirdmanrecords.com. There's an awesome package deal going on where you can get Karma and Sound Wheel. It's a lovely deal. Go to thirdmanrecords.com. I go there so much. I am so bad. I have to go, no, Laurie, back down, no. But again, Alison, this is so cool. My friend who's an artist in town, Jacqueline Badeau, she is also a fan of yours, and she was the one really recommending that I check your artwork out, and I want to say thanks to her. I will, absolutely. And thank you for chatting.
Absolutely, anytime. You take care over there, okay?
You too.
Say goodbye to your balloon for me.
Hey, balloon, Alison says bye.
Later, man.
This is the best interview ever.
All right. Speak soon.